Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the interactive learning session. So, so I have to have a quick discussion on software engineering concepts. Uh, as I always informing you, please make sure to go through the recorded lessons, previous years recorded lessons, because the course content and syllabus extract same, so there's no difference. So please make sure to go through and learn all of these things. I have enabled everything for you before these sessions. Even session 5 is enabled for you. So please make sure to go through and learn all these sessions. It might be like couple of years, even all the details are enabled for you. So it's something that you have to go through and understand. So then we can do our life much easier. So let's start today project management related stuff at the very beginning, which is the session 15 of introduction to software engineering. Let me share my screen so we can start our discussion. Right. So this is the chapter that you have to go through and understand very well what happens in here and so on and so forth. So we are planning to have a discussion on some introduction to software engineering. What is software and software engineering? Product life cycle, software life cycle models, and so on and so forth. Those are the main components that we are trying to understand in here. So in this session, you will be explore how the term software engineering emerged and the phrases in software life cycle. So we'll try to differentiate between the software life cycle, hardware life cycle, and then we'll discuss the activities in the software life cycle in detail. So the discussion will lead to software process models, which will be discussed in the next session. So first of all, we'll understand what is the software and the software engineering. In general terms, if someone asks what is a software, there's no need to be very specified, right? Definition, a unique definition from a specific book. If it is something that in general terms, but if you can write the essentials, that's more than enough. So if you take in a very simple scenario, a set of programs. Set of programs means now you know a software or something that you have used, Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint, web browsers, all of these are softwares. Behind the scenes set of programs, set of codings are running. So if you take this scenario, your context, we have written C files, right? .c files. This is a program. This is something that you have given some instructions to get some information, to process it, to do something, and so on and so forth. But this is not a software at all. It's just a small program. Because if you want to convert into a software, we want some additional utilities. For an example, there should be a layer to run this your code. Simply for an example, it should be run in Windows. It should be run in Windows or Linux, Mac, wherever. It might be a mobile application, desktop application, whatever. So we want to embed some additional components to run this software product. And we want to embed additional supporting files that C language giving. Because if you take this .c file and if you try to execute somewhere that C is not installed, you are getting errors. So that's the obvious scenario. Now, what is the reason behind the C language? The installation consists of set of files in here. These are supporting files to execute this C file. So we want to bind all of these things. After binding only, we can convert it into an exe or whatever software executing type, something that we can execute in a machine. So ultimately, if we combine all of this is just as one single piece of code, still you can convert this single piece of code into a software. I will give a task for you. Just try to convert your C file into an installable software. It's not a big deal. It's very easy, but I would I would like to keep it for you for a self-study purposes. That's the very basic overview of a software and software engineering. Right? Software development is of software is not just writing programs. Software is more than programs. There are a lot of things we have to go through. Software also includes data structures that enable the program hold data and manipulate it. Documents that describe the system that use this program. So once it comes to these softwares, internally, we are writing programs. Simply, we are writing something to hold. Give me an example, a name. What is the name of this place to hold the data? Hold data. What is the name of this hold data? Variable, perfect. Thank you. Thank you. Variable, yes. A place that holds the data, it's a variable. Good. So these variables are storing data temporarily, but we want to have very smooth, very strong structures of data to be arranged to get the maximum output from a given scenario. If we get a very simple example, think the human body, the face and your nose and all of these things nicely arranged, right? So this is your body. I'm sorry. So this is your nice uh, eyes and ears and all of these things. Assume if something gone wrong. For an example, if your nose is in here, your eyes are down where like here, you might be in a big trouble because inappropriate structure might getting all of these problems. If you arrange something properly, if you arrange your data properly inside a computer program, that's the best. That provides most suitable, most efficient, most powerful mechanism to execute in a given scenario. That structure is known as the data structure. So we have a separate subject for that, so I'm not going in detail. There are a lot of data structures in here in computer science in our computer world. So you will learn one by one uh, very soon. Even now, some of you are learning. It's a must to have a robust data structure, most appropriate structure to arrange the data inside your memory. So that's the biggest story. How to write a stronger software. Yes, of course, there might be some arguments. Now, we don't want to think a lot because we have tools for that. Yes, I agree with that. But what I believe is very soon you will be a PhD holder or a doctor. So very soon you will be develop something to this world. So at that time, you should have good understanding how this background layer is going on, unless you can't really rely on all of these things. Here, the IEEE standards provides this software definitions, computer programs, procedures, and associate document, and all of these things. So this is just an uh, just definition. So you don't want to bother a lot. Software system is made to solve some problem. Some problems we can't solve. Some problems we can solve from a software. So don't think about all these things in the world, but software systems are supporting to help problems to solve the problems in the world. So begin understand the problem. We have to understand the problem, the requirement, the real reason why we want such kind of a thing. Now, very soon you will do a lot of projects, group projects, individual projects. You should come up with some problems. Then only you can tell we have a problem in here. This is the solution for this. These activities are regarded as engineering activities and needed to be supported by a set of management activities that overlay the entire process. and yes, there are some of standard definitions given for you. I believe you got some very basic understanding what is a software and what is a software engineering, what is the core of the software engineering. We have a concept called product life cycle. So product life cycle goes through the life cycle similar to the living things. For an example, a butterfly starts life as an egg, hatches as caterpillar, so it becomes something and something and so on and so forth. So everything is in a proper life cycle, so similar to every scenario. So in the software field also the same thing happens. We have a concept and the feasibility study. We have requirement definition. We have to define the high level design, then the low level design. Then we have to construct the prototype, then manufacture. We have to maintain it. Then we have to go through whether we want to keep it or no longer useful, or whether we want to improve it or not. On the other hand, we have software life cycle. It's basically giving concept and the feasibility, requirements capturing, specification. We have high level design, low level design, implementation, testing. We have a trial, uh, which is sometimes it might be an internal acceptance testing, sometimes it might be user acceptance testing. You will learn all of these testing methods very soon. Then we have deployment, we have operation and maintenance. Then we have to say bye bye. There's an activity to do, please make sure to do that activity. If we take the main phases of the software life cycle, we have very initial scenario is requirements gathering. So we should gather the requirements. Then we have to go for the analysis. Then we have to go for design, developing test, and install it. Then it's a cycle again. So it goes to a life cycle. Again, it's going back and forth. Once it comes to the analysis phase, we have in a broader scope requirements analysis and the requirement specification. At the very beginning, we should have a proper requirement specification where the place that all the things properly documented. And the requirement analysis is just a story how to analyze the real requirement. So after a proper analysis, we can go for a proper specification and we can go even back and forth some scenarios, because at the very beginning, we might not fully aware with the requirements. So we have to update the document many times. Once you join to the industry, you will see there's a log that we are maintaining how the software was evolved. So at that time, you'll realize how this cycle, requirements analysis and the specification gone back and forth. It might be in different namings, but the core concept is same as it is. Then we have design, where the design phase comes to a detailed specification and the outline specification. So it provides high level specifications for you to go through and get an understanding. So again, we have an activity. So please try to do this whenever you are free. We have a concept called prototyping. Prototyping is just a place that we are telling, all right, we have something in real world. This is a similar structure or similar thing in this context. For an example, if you have gone to a exhibition or something, then you could be able to see we have specific prototypes. These prototypes are specifically doing representing the real world, how the windows are, how the doors are. Assume a building, the dimensions, color, shading, and all of these things that we can show. So the prototyping also, we have a couple of specs. Some of the like throw away prototyping we have. Then we have evolutionary prototyping. So you learn all of this prototyping very soon. Then we have engineering products, problem with the softwares, and we are going to understand very soon all of these things. So after studying the session, you should be able to recognize the need of for a disciplined approach to software system development, identify the key phases of software lifecycle, then use of prototyping. There are a couple of review questions to do. So please make sure to do these review questions whenever you are free. Any questions from this chapter? All right, seems no questions. Let's move to the session 16, the overview of process models. Yes, question. How to do the analysis, requirement analysis? Yes, of course, nice question. I'll answer this question very soon. We have a chapter for that. How to analyze the requirements. Um, Make sure to learn all of these things very well, because your mini project is based on this information. If you do not grasp this information properly, then you might be in a big problem once it comes to the Viva. Because during the Viva, what is the expectation is checking the ability of a student to explain the theoretical aspects by combining a practical scenario that governed by yourself. Because we have given a very high level, I have given a very high level problem for you. It might be a bakery or a school or something, education institute or something. Then you have to go to the clients. You should understand this problem. Then you have to come up with documentation. There's no implementation required. So that's the theoretical, that's the practical scenario that you are experiencing. Today I'm giving the theoretical aspects to grasp how to do these kinds of things. I'm so sorry, like this is not a too detailed discussion. It's just a very simple and a quicker discussions for you. But after this lesson, you should be able to go through and understand in detail, and I'll add some additional things also to make sure your life easy. And almost we have LMS all of this information, so you could be able to grasp and go and do a lot of things very smoother, man. So we have a process models in here. So the process models might uh, support a lot for you. So again, I'm emphasizing, once you are doing your requirements gathering, once you are doing analysis, once you are documenting, you should be able to properly articulate your theoretical knowledge and the practical knowledge. For the implementation purposes, you can do in future. There are a lot of things to do in future. You can implement. You don't want to see for this implementation. This is a business requirement. Usually the C is not a language for normal, like general purpose businesses like hospitals and libraries and so on and so forth. It's much more detailed to a computer system, processors and stuff. So you don't have this kind of thing to implement, but the practical experience is much important, because once you are going out, you should be able to understand what this person is telling, what is the actual requirement is. It's not something that we can gain just from the theoretical aspects. You should go to practical scenario. You should jump into the problem. You should see the customer's point of view. They can't explain the problem properly. You should ask questions. You should see where the gaps are. Then only you can do the best. So keep in mind these things. In the other hand, there's a CAT 2. The assessment 2 is going on very soon. So for the CAT 2, all these problems, project management questions are fired, functional requirements, non-functional requirements, testing, and so on and so forth, apart from a C program. So it's your responsibility to grasp all of these things. I know it's a bit of pressure. You manage the pressure, schedule your work, perhaps then you can do a lot. If you do have any questions related to the CAT, please let me know. CAT 2. had to date. I think it's given in the course page. Please check the date. This month we have, if I'm not mistaken, units covering up to 24th. Whatever the things, yes, whatever things up to the last, apart from the last 5, all the units. I will share that information. Give me a second. Till unit 22, metrics of software quality. Until unit 22, you'll get questions. This is the last topic. Lab 1, you don't have any Viva, but Lab 2, you have a lab Viva. Next Monday onwards, I will share. Viva is there next Monday. Sorry, yes, next Monday we have Viva session starting. Monday, sorry, government given some release for uni. So perhaps after 6th, 7th or something, then after I just arranged after from 5th onwards. I think university students got a leave like fee of these things, so you don't have anything. So perhaps 8th onwards you might have. We'll see. I will send a notification today itself. What is the meaning of this best cat? It's a good question actually. This is the question. I will make sure to everyone. This is the question that what is B cat OQ multiplied by 0.2? This is known as, we have two assessments. One is the cat assessment, which is the written exam that in future you have. And the other one is the OQ. OQ means online quiz, which was almost done. Assume you got 90 marks for the OQ, and if you got 60 marks for the CAT, then we consider only the 90 marks, will ignore the 60 marks for the second CAT test. If you got 100 out of 100 for both, then no worries at all. If you do not attend for the OQ, then if you attend for the CAT, that's your best CAT. If you do not attend for, if you do attend for OQ, and if you do not attend for CAT, we'll get the OQ. So the students who got above 90, I believe you have almost scored your maximum for this CAT marks, above 90s, because written exams, usually it's really hard to gain 90 marks. For the OQ is the best place to get above 90s and 80s. Usually once it comes to written exams, it's a bit hard. So if you got very good mark for OQ, you are really happy. You should really happy, and your life is much easy because you don't have pressure for the CAT examination. B means best. B means best, whether CAT or the OQ. Highest mark we are considering. Assume you got 100 out of 100 for the OQ, and the real mark for this OQ is 100 multiplied by 0.2, which is 20 marks for the OCAT, right? Overall continuous assessments mark. Assume you got 50, then 50 multiplied by, your best mark is 50. 50 multiplied by 0.2, so which is 10 marks for the total marks. I think it's clear. Any questions for that? It's a nice question. That's why I have shared with everyone. Next one is not an online quiz, it's a written examination. Yes, there's a lab scheduler for 5th Monday, so which is not happening because lab 3 we can't do because of these elections and stuff. So we'll try to do the best in that case also, right? Because 5th is a holiday for you, if I'm not mistaken. I will share that information if I'm not mistaken, right? If it is the scenario, we'll do the 5th as usual. If not, we'll rearrange the most suitable date for this. All good. No more questions? Yes, lab 2 we have Viva. I will share the list. Your time slots. You have to attend for 10 minutes and 5 minutes Q&A session. So it's just 10 minutes you can present. If you're going above 10 minutes, you will get 0 marks. Right? So you should be able to finish within 10 minutes. I will share the rubric. Uh, if it is less than 8 minutes, 7 minutes, or minus marks might be there. So you should be finished perfect 9 to 10 minutes. 9 is the best. Then 10th minute onwards, 5 minutes questions are there. Your assessor might ask to delete some of the lines and rewrite the code. So that's the general question. For an example, delete line number 12 to 13, then rewrite the code. So this kind of question might be there. Right. Yes, Viva times I will share a sheet with you so you can join at that time. CAT is on-site exam paper. Yes, it's an exam paper. Thank you. It's May 22nd, so ready for that written examination paper. There's a C program question, functional requirements, non-functional requirements, software testing, process, project management, software engineering. These things might be there. You should understand a problem, and you should be able to clearly differentiate the functional and non-functional requirements. Black box testing, white box testing, and so on and so forth. Any other questions? Lab 2 not attended. Yes, of course, I will share a list again. I'm in a planning process. Very soon I'll do. I got 52 for CAT. Uh, it's enough for pass. It depends on the others. It's like for the mini project, you should get 40 marks. Give me a second. I will. Didn't I explain? Give me a second. If I'm not mistaken, I have discussed, but I can't remember exactly whether I have discussed or not. Let me quickly have a discussion with you how to get this story very well. Lab 1 marks I will release the next week. Lab 2 marks depends on your Viva. Right. This is the synopsis that I have shared with you. Now we'll see what is this story is, what you have to do. Here we have a mini project, a continuous assessment, online quiz, lab evaluation. So these are the things that you have to face on. And X is a variable. Now you know what is a variable, right? Best cat or OQ, neither options, will get 0.2 weightage, and you should have a mini project 0.3. For an example, if you got mini project 100 out of 100, then you will get 100 multiplied by right here 100 multiplied by 0.3, which is equals to 30. Right, correct. This is for the mini project. And for the labs also, we have 0.3 multiplication. Then you have TMAs. It's getting the average value of 0.2. Like if you have a TMA 100 out of 100 for both, then you'll get 100 multiplied by 0.2. If you got 50 for one, the other one if you got 25, then 75 divided by 2 multiplied by 0.2. The bigger story is, this is the critical component. This is the critical component. In case if you do not get uh, above 40 marks for your mini project, right? If you do not get, if you do get less than 40, your X is 0. Which, even though you did very well in here, even though you did very well in here, even though you did very well in here, if your mini project is not submitted, if you do not attend for the Viva, if you do not answer very well for your Viva questions for your mini project, and if you got less than 40 marks, you'll get 0 marks for the X. Even though everything is in there, final mark is a 0 mark. So that's the very, very important scenario. If you got more than 40 marks, if you got more than 40 marks, this is the equation to find your X, your complete marks. On the other hand, you can see if the X is greater than 40, if you got above mini project 40, and if your X is above 40, then your final evaluation marks will be, if you do have 0, then you have to completely do the exam, repeat the subject completely for these kids. So here we have 0.5x, 0.5y. So if your y is above 40, then you'll get 0.5, 0.5. If it is less than 40, so the final mark is your y. So again, you will fail this subject. Please make sure to do this subject very seriously, because the reason is, this is a prerequisite for many subjects. If you do not complete this subject properly, the biggest risk is you can't enroll for future subjects. I'm emphasizing it. Please make sure to do the best for this subject, because if you go through the course book, then you will see lot of what we call lot of prerequisite subjects are on top of this subject. So this is a prerequisite for many subjects. So you can't enroll for this subject if you are fail for this subject, fail in this subject. So please make sure to push yourself to do the best for this subject and other subjects also, because if it is a prerequisite is not in there, you can't enroll for future subjects. And if I'm not mistaken, according to the stats we have, the passing rate is not very good in this subject, though this is a very easy subject. I believe it's clear. Uh, TMA is included for OCAM. We are trying to remove these TMAs. Even there was a couple of things going on at the very beginning, but it wasn't a very success. So you should do both the TMA1 and TMA1 and TMA2. Yes, you have to do both TMA1 and TMA2. It's a must to do this TMA1 and TMA2, because this is average. If you do very good in the TMA1, if you got 0 marks for the TMA2, you'll get 50 marks, because 100 plus 0, it's 0. 0 divided by 2, it's 50. 50 multiplied by 0.2. Again, you're in a big trouble. So this is a very strategic equation, students. Your effort is really important, especially like you people are really happy, you're really easy, because it's not a big deal. You are not doing any specific things, and you are fully learning. The biggest challenge is the people who are learning, actually. Then the students might have a lot of things. Some of family problems are there and many things. And the biggest thing, if you have any problem, your very first contact should be me, myself. If you do contact someone else, what I do think is okay, then let them to do with that person and deal with. If you have a problem in this subject, I don't bother with the rest of the things. If you have a problem in this subject, please contact me. If not, if you do contact someone else, what I'm always thinking is, right, let them, that student to deal with that, whoever the lecturer, then fine, let's do whatever things. I do not involve. That's my bad habit. I'm sorry for that. Right? That's my bad habit, because if you trust some another god, yes, of course, pray for that. I don't have any problems. There are issues going on every time, because uh, the biggest story is students, the students who are trying to fail. They have some problems, they are trying to solve the problem in a different manner. What they are doing is they are just trying to tell, this paper is extremely hard, we haven't heard this word even, we haven't learned this, lecturer wasn't teach. Actually, this is open and distance learning. Materials are in the course page. Anything outside, I'm not asking any question. I will ask only questions from the course materials in your LMS, learning management system. I don't ask any question. And as previously I told, I don't have any idea to give a copy, photocopy in this time by changing the values to x to 3 to 5 to something. Yes, of course, there are lecturers like that, but not me, please. Please don't expect, even though entire batch send an emails to everyone, I don't do that, because I want reputed place to work. I want reputed place to you to tell, this is a nice place, right? We are the people who change this software engineering world. I can, right? If a person says I can't and going to industry and like doing all these bully things, that backfires for all of us. That backfires for all of us. I know some of lecturers are fear. They are fear for their job. They are fear for students. They are fear for all of these things. But I don't bother. Right? I don't bother, because what I'm always doing is the best to change your life, to help your life, or transform your life to success. To transform to your life, it's a bit challenging. It's a bit challenging. That's the reality, right? The students who are getting lower marks, I know that very well. It's aware, not only me, even HOD, director, all these professors, everyone knows. If you are sending an email, the reality is you are trying to get some help from them to pass the subject. Don't be a silly person. Don't be a silly person. And don't expect the past paper will be there as it is. Because I'm changing. I don't want to do it. Yes, of course, do it. Do practice. The paper structure might be very more or less similar, because I don't want to mess up your life at all, but I don't want silly people to. All right, gone a bit more discussion. Thank you. Any further questions, please? Good. Right. We'll quickly jump to our topic again. Now you can see where you are almost, whether you can get the eligibility or not. No need to ask from your lecturers or someone else. Do this calculation and see whether you are eligible or not. Very simple, because many times I'm getting emails, sir, do I'm eligible or not? If the marks with you, why can't you get the what you can't you do the calculations and see whether you are eligible or not? Perfect mini project. Yes, nice question. I don't expect anything perfect, to be honest, because none of us are perfect, right? So we don't have a perfect mini project, but a good mini project or an acceptable mini project, up to good standard of a mini project, is a mini SRS, software requirements specification. I have shared one software requirement specification with you in the chat, in the WhatsApp. I will share it in the document, this LMS also. You just see what kind of thing is this SRS. You just learn it. Then cut and chop and do whatever things that fit for your case, because you can't write that much of a complicated technical document now, because you are just kids. You can't do anything that kind of a complicated thing because you don't know much things in this software engineering world. But the expectation is you should have a good understanding how the requirements can be gathered, how to analyze the requirements, how to differentiate the functional and unfunctional requirements. You should be able to clearly discuss with your technical team. Here we have a functional requirement, here we have a non-functional requirement. Here, these kind of problems we have in the world, this is the solution that we can go for. Your solutions might be not the best solution. I don't bother at all. That's fine. But if it is a competitive answer, if it is challenging for the real world people, yes, of course, you're the best student that come up. That's the biggest story that you can do. That's the biggest story that you can do. That's the biggest thing that you can do to get success. You write, I know, yes, of course, you just copy paste all of these things to GPTs and get the solutions. And finally, you'll say, all right, paraphrase it, humanize it. And I know all of these big things that students are doing. It's not a big deal at all. But at the end of the day, if you can survive yourself, if you can give the proper answers, yes, of course, you are a survived person. You are the survived person. I'm thinking like that, and I believe SSS, all the SSS will believe more or less similar things. But again, some of the SSS are strongly disagree with using ChatGPT for the academic work. In case if you got that kind of assessor, you might be in a problem if you are completely depends on ChatGPT or whatever the LLMs and Gen AI tools. Right. Is that enough or do you want more? For the TMA2, yes, TMA2, TMA2, the biggest problem is the objective. I'll tell the TMA2 is actually to take you into the technical scenarios, because reading a journal, reading an article is a challenge. There's no argument at all. You don't know the words. It's like a hectic task. At the very beginning, it's like hammering to your head. Yes, agreed. There's no arguments at all, because even it was same thing for me, right? If it is empathical point of view, yes, of course, same story we have. But if you just try to read one or two articles, then your life is much easier in future. Not now all of a sudden, but if you are, because ultimate goal is universities are to generate new knowledge, not to go for a job. I don't know, for some reason it was bit of change. This is not a technical institute. There are technical institutes to train the students to go to jobs. We are innovators, we are rethinkers, we are the people who generate new knowledge to the world. So in that point of view, you should be able to read an article. You should highlight that article. Once you are reading some document, you are highlighting the important things. So what you can do is you can highlight the important aspects in that given document. So it's a nightmare, believe me, to read one paragraph might take 1 day at the very beginning. One paragraph, 1 day. That much of complicated. That much of complicated. Because you do have very limited theoretical knowledge, very limited practical experience, very limited sometimes English knowledge, but it's transforming. Sometimes you don't know anything at the very beginning, but if you just go for each and every line, each and every word, end of these 3 to 10 to 100 to journal articles, you might be a very stronger person. Right, we'll back to the story again. The expectation is read this article very well. At least two, at most, there's no limited. You can go for 10 to 25 to 30 or 50 or 100 even. That's not a problem at all. You should read that article, then you should write a summary. What are the findings and what are the problems? I have given some set of problems. Then you should answer on top of that question. You should answer for that questions based on the document, the journal, or the conference article that you have read. If you read something, if you don't have any answers, you should delete that document, the journal or the conference paper. You should pick one, a new one. You can't simply say, I read this document, but there's nothing at all. Then the very first article is done, second article is done, third article is done, and so on and so forth. Then what you need to do is you need to write separate chapters, separate documents, separate files for each and every journal that you are reading. You should submit all the articles that you have read, and you should submit the highlighted document, not just a document. You should specifically tell this is the place that the interesting parts in this document. You should specifically tell. Then what you can do is you can write answers, a summary at the very beginning. What is this problem? What they have done, and so on and so forth. Then answer the questions. Then you submit that. Zip file, submit it, all these things, or else if they are not allowed to submit, you can submit as separate documents. That's the TMA tool. You have 1 month completely. 1 month completely. Your very first document might take a bit of time. Sometimes 16 hours, 20 hours around of effort is required for the first document. But for the second document, for sure, it's like less than 10 hours. For sure. Right. So usually what I'm expecting is less than 1 hour you should be able to read this article, and less than 1 hour you should be able to write this article. Some students are there. So the average student's expectation is that if you can't complete this article within 1 hour, yes, of course, then you have to challenge yourself. For the mini project, questions marks are allocated for the requirements gathering, requirements analysis, understanding functional requirements, understanding non-functional requirements, uh, ability to explain the functional requirements in a testable manner, understand the business problem. So those are the main things that you should focus on your mini project. Mini project submission you should do within 2 weeks. Yes, of course, I'm happy if you can do it perfectly. I love it. Please do as much as do the best you can do, but don't add unwanted images and stuff. Add all these nice images. Wherever you are going, keep a record. Have get the photos whenever you are interviewing with these people. The location details. Take photos. Give evidences to confirm that you did all of these things. Good, nice, thank you. Right, let's move to our topic again. Quickly jump with the process models. Here we have process models. Please make sure to go through all the recorded videos, students, because I'm not giving a complete or a comprehensive information for you. It's just a rough discussion. So the topic is the overview of process models. Under this case, you should understand waterfall, uh, the V, life cycle model, prototype, incremental, then rapid application development, spiral life cycle model, and so on. So the waterfall is basically like similar to a waterfall. At the very beginning, we have requirements given at the very beginning. We are taking the requirements, then we have a design, we have construction, we have testing, then the development, deployment. Right. Back here we have the requirements. We have to get the requirements. We have to see what is required. Requirement is what is required from the software. What is the problem that they have? Then you should have a proper designing. How the buttons are there? No. That's not the whole story. You should have a good structure of the software. It's like a blueprint of a house. How the objects are, where the classes are, what are the things that are the variables that we are defining, what are the classes, how the data flow is going towards processing, how their data is going from here to here, where the database is located, where how the data normalization is going on, and so on and so forth. That's the design. Yes, of course, you can consider UI designing too. Then you have to implement it, write the real code in here. What is the code? The real code in this case. Then you have to go for testing. You have to test this product very well. You have to see where the actual testing cases are, actual testing scenarios are. Then you can go for the deployment, where the real application is deployed to the real world. Then we are sending it to the operations and the maintenances to update it. It's just taking the requirements to maintenance. That's all. It's like a waterfall from top to bottom. The water is flowed. So the from the requirements to operations and the maintenance, the structure is going on. This is a very common and very robust, unique scenario that introduced time back. Nowadays, it was changed. There are a lot of things, arguments are here and there. Don't get upset. Just focus on this. This is the traditional waterfall method. Then we have some additional things with the iterations and stuff. Yes, of course, you can go through. Then we have a V model, which is basically telling how these requirements are going for requirements design and the coding is going on. The coding is testing with unit testing and stuff. Then the design is testing, entire system testing. Then the requirements are testing via this acceptance testing. You might see a different V model in different places. Yes, of course, agreed. But this is the V model that you have to write for your answer. Don't try to argue with these kinds of things. Just try to get the marks, right? So you just decide what is the best case that fit for you. Then you can survive in your interview. That's all. And if you can survive in the industry, that's all. You learn all of these V models. Even I have seen many V models in different places, so you can go through. But this is the standard V model given for you. Please make sure to read it, understand, learn it, how it's going on. Just memorize it. Then we have deployment. Then we have operations and maintenance. This is another model that we are discussing in this course. Then we have prototyping. Prototyping, again, we have a scenario where the design is starting. Then we have initial prototype developing. So we evolution of this prototype, refine the requirements. Then we are going for again the designing and updating. It's like we have to build a very taller building of 100 meters, assume 800 meters. So we are doing a very small cardboard or whatever the board something is using some material. Then we build the house in here, or the building in here. It's not a house, right? 100, then Ambani should be there. Right here we have something in here. Then the structure is in here. All these things are there without a real implementation. This is the prototype. We can explain all the things, how the things are going on. Even the software field, we have prototyping softwares, CAD softwares for architectural designs, but it's not the whole story. We have in software engineering prototype models, just the UI is in there, but not the entire application. So that's the big story in here. Then we have incremental life cycle, where the increments are going on at the very beginning. We have first increment, second increment, third increment, and so on and so forth. We are doing incremental level of update. Then we have rapid application development. Actually, rapid application development is not all of a sudden application development. That's a misconception in many places. Rapid application development is writing a proper application in a stipulated time, like very well understandable things that we can go for rapid models. Some of the things we have logical scenarios for this rapid application development we have. Then we have spiral model, basically telling how the spiral, the initial requirements to the different kinds of what we call this rounds are going on. Initial planning is going on, then we are going for the analysis, then we are going for engineering, then we have to custom accept expectations or succeed or not. In case if you want, yes, of course. Usually we are going for the same round again, and we have again still we have some requirements, then we plan it, then we analyze it, then we engineer it, then we evaluate by the customer and so on and so forth. It's like rounds and rounds and rounds things are going on to get the best output. That's the biggest story here. That's a quick summary for you. I have given a very high level discussion for you to understand this story. Please make sure to go through and understand in detail to get the best out from this. Don't worry, again, we have all of these things in future. We have project management subjects and stuff to learn in detail, but in this subject, all you need to do is you need to understand high level how these things are working and so on and so forth. Then we have agile models. These agile models are basically telling why we have to go for this agile manifesto. We have in the methods, frameworks, problems, agile models we have. So the previous scenario, we have a problem because the requirements are changing time to time. At the very beginning, we will start to write an application with this and that and this and that. But later on, what was happened, it was changed the requirement. So the initial plans are not working very well. So what we have to do is we have to adapt to new problem. Then we have to go back and forth. Then we have to solve this problem. Eventually, it's a very complicated and really frustrating scenarios. People come up with a new model known as a scenario, a structure, or a frameworks, a set of frameworks related to this agile concepts. Again, what we are doing is the Agile Manifesto. We are telling manifesto comprise of set of values and principles based on which Agile methods have been developed. The document Manifesto for Agile Software Development was developed by 17 software developers who wanted to change the software process. Agile Manifesto in here to learn. There are several principles given here. Several principles given here. You have to learn it by heart, all of these things. What is the principle 2? Welcome changing requirements. Principle 3 and stuff. So it's not a big deal. Then we have frameworks. Some of popular frameworks are Scrum, Kanban. So you should be able to see what happens in the Scrum, Kanban. Then we have extreme programming, extreme modeling. Then we have feature-driven development. We have adaptive software development and a lot of mechanisms. So you can learn all of these things very soon. Scrum is again a nice product. If you are planning to become a Scrum Master, there are certification courses. Yes, of course, even you can join with them and see what they are doing. Project management is very easy for non-technical people, but it's a bit of a hectic task because you have to deal with a lot of management tasks. You have to deal with people. Deal with people is really hard. Dealing with machines, dealing with codes are really easy because they do whatever we want, but dealing with people is a complicated. They what they want. That's really when I'm doing something, you are doing something. Right. We have similar scenario in Kanban. Then it's just uh, scenario that telling how these boards, Kanban boards and stuffs are going on, and so on and so forth. So we have some problems with this agile uh, models. Uh, so disadvantages are there as usual, which is a very common scenario. If you go to this document, the key points from you should understand is you should be able to explain what is agile, uh, and you should differentiate agile and waterfall. Then you should try able to explain couple of things related to the agile manifesto, right? Couple of principles. Then you should be able to write down and explain agile methods and frameworks, Scrum, Kanban basically. Then if you can tell what happens in this Scrum and Kanban, it's more than enough in a very high level. It should be not a very detailed one. It's just go back and forth. That's more than enough. So what is agile? What is agile manifesto? Then frameworks. Under the frameworks, mainly two frameworks you can tell. One is Scrum, the other one is Kanban. If you have that knowledge in your hands, that's more than enough. You don't want to go for in detail of this extreme programming and so on and so forth for now. But for the final examination, yes, of course, you should know all of these things. Any questions? Any questions? All right. No questions. Agile framework. Not sure the question is. I think more than agile frameworks, if I'm not mistaken, the question is asking apart from Scrum and Kanban, any other? Yes, yes, of course, we have. We have a lot. Even we have these uh, other mechanisms like extreme programming, feature-driven development. All of these are like agile concepts we have. The row is agile, but apart from that, there are a lot of things we have, not only these two. But for your level, for this subject, if you understood that, more than enough. Like in a very high level, if you understood what is this Scrum and what is Kanban, it's more than enough. Right. Let's move to requirement elicitation. What is this requirement elicitation is and what happens in the requirement elicitation? Right. A software development is software requirement elicitation, resolving ambiguities, and how to deal with these kinds of things, then resolving functional and non-functional requirements. So in the software development process, the very first step is to conduct the feasibility study to see whether there is a really worth developing new system. Feasibility study means understanding in a very high level, the checking the actual possibility to implement this kind of a scenario. Assume uh, I have $1 trillion now. I'm giving this $1 trillion to you and asking you to develop a rocket because I want to go to Jupiter, a journey, a trip, have for fun. Can you develop this rocket for me? I have 1 trillion. Okay, even more than that. Unlimited money I have. The problem is we don't have a solution for this. The feasibility of this requirement is impossible. It's infeasible requirement. We can't do it. We can't solve this problem in software engineering point of view. So that's the bigger problem in this feasibility study. The feasibility, understanding the probability to do doable. Then if that feasible, assume I'm asking to develop a game, a web application or a mobile application, whatever. I'm asking that question. Yes, of course, you might say, yes, I can. Why not? Give me money. Then, in this session, we will first discuss the different methods of requirement elicitation while resolving these ambiguities. Ambiguities means uncertainties. I'm not sure. Ambiguate. I'm not sure. Removing platitudes and rectifying omissions in gathered requirements. We have to cut and chop and do whatever things that we want to do to get the proper requirements. Now, once you are going outside, you are asking a question, what is the problem is and what you want to do. Then they'll tell stories. This building was started 1917 and this is the story that we did at that time. People was crowd to this place and worship early in the morning to all the lecturers, all the teachers. Then they worship and go to this place. Then they have exercises and stuff. That's not a requirement for you. You don't want this information. But if you do not hear that information, the end user might get upset. That's the reality. That's the reality. That's the truth. That's the truth. Your job is to understand the complexity of this scenario in an implementation point of view. Your head should always direct it to find out, figure out, to do the best. We have requirement solicitation. First and foremost task in software development process is the requirement elicitation. That is gathering requirements. This is where you ask the users, managers, clients, etc., etc. Questions like, why do you need this system? What do you expect from the system? To get the required output, what do you do now? In other words, you are trying to understand what the inputs and the outputs are and how this work or the process is being carried out currently, either by manually or with any other old system. During the process of the software development, there are many roles played. We have a main person called business analyst, a person who understands the business requirements. Then we have system analyst, who is understanding the entire system point of view. Then we have software engineers, programmers, testers, QA engineers, etc., etc. In order to gather the requirements, you must identify the stakeholders of the system. That means identify who are the users, administrators, and beneficiaries of this system. You have different kinds of mechanisms to elicitate methods commonly acceptable in here. Interviews, use of focus groups, observations, prototyping, animation, scenario analysis, document analysis, and so on and so forth. So please make sure to understand all of these things very well. What happens in here? Resolving ambiguities, platitudes, and the omissions. To understand further about requirement elicitation for a new system, let us consider a simple problem solution for automating a vehicle service system in a small garage. Consider the following initial statement of the requirement for help desk scheduling system requested by ID division. Here we have a scenario. So what you can do, you can read all of these things very well and understand the scenario. If I give a time, students, I'm so sorry, I don't able to complete all these things. So what I can do is I quickly move to the scenarios. Scenario that any requirement document made by the user or the business analyst may contain the ambiguities, statements which are not clear, specific. Then we have platitudes, terms are not meaningful, easy to use. Easy to use. If something easy to use, you should say how it is easy to use. To carry out, to draw it, to split it, you should measure it, the time taken out. If it is easy, now once you have completed the CAT test, what you are telling is it's an easy paper. You're telling it's an easy paper. If it is an easy paper, what you tell, how you measure this easiness? Easy because you have learn it, learn the subject very well. There are a couple of students got some marks. I will arrange Viva for those students and I will make their life trouble into troubles very soon. Problematic students. Right? Then after I will release the official marks. Somehow, if the paper is easy, if the paper is easy, you know it very well. All right, it's not measurable. What's measurable? I have completed within 10 minutes. Ah, it's measurable. Right? Something that we have to tell, meaningful manner. Meaningful manner. System should open within 10 minutes. In the other hand, you can say easy to use. Easy to use is not something meaningful. If it is meaningful, you should test it. You should be able to test it. omissions we have, necessary requirements missed or forgotten to convey to the obvious scenario. We are human. Yes, of course. We might forget something. We might miss something. Agreed. Because we are not robots. We are not 24 by 7 machineries that working. We are not black manufacturing. Yes, of course. So the BA's responsibility, in the other hand, in this scenario, in your mini project, it's your responsibility to get all this information. That's the biggest role that you have to. And some of general questions we have given in here, and there's an activity that you can do. Now we'll see what is a functional requirement in here. Functional requirements are basically the service that the proposed system should be provide. All right. What is a functional requirement? Functional requirement is a system that providing some of activities, something that we can do. How many of you did A-level ICT, A-level IT, sorry, not ICT, A-level IT? Please raise your hands, students. How many of you did A-level IT? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 11. Pause. Seriously. 12, 14, 15. I need more. Please raise your hands. A-level IT students. Seriously, I have only 16. I'm so sorry. That's fine. Thank you. For you people, this is not a big deal, isn't it? In our A-level syllabus, we have all these functional and non-functional requirements, but be careful. Right? Thank you. Please take your hands down. Thank you. Thanks a lot. The problem is the language that you have used. You have learned black box testing. You have learned white box testing very well. But the problem is sometimes you don't know how to interpret it in English language. That might be a challenge for you. But believe me, you have something in your hand other than the others. Use this opportunity, do the best. Because you have learned what is a functional requirement, you have used what is a non-functional requirement. You have learned black box testing, you have learned white box testing. Isn't it? Yes or no? Yes. But the language might be the problem. But don't worry, you'll grasp it very soon. Others, the people who did not, you should learn from beginning, right? You should learn from beginning. Sometimes it might be a challenge for you. Don't worry. Don't worry. You can. My objective is to transform all of you into a good level in software engineering. Even after this subject, you should be able to do something. Somehow in general terms, a functional requirement is some activity that the system can do. It might be after button click, the data can be transferred from one place to another place. Sometimes it might be loading to specific servers. Sometimes it might be delete some information. All of these things are actions, something that customer expect to do in the system. Non-functional requirements, on the other hand, these are system properties. Usually the customers are not telling to us. For an example, response time, loading time, security, vulnerability assessments, threat assessments, color, shapes, images, where we have to host, whether cloud server or a local server, where we have to, nothing they are telling us. But nowadays, that's not the big, that's not a big problem. Don't worry, because even I'm working with a couple of clients. All these clients are clearly telling these non-functional requirements nowadays. But but it's your responsibility to understand. For the from this point of view, university point of view, functional requirements are the challenge. After 10 years, functional requirements are not the challenge, non-functional requirements are the challenge. Because you have to tell your system can load within 3 seconds. Your system can access 1,000 people concurrently, parallelly. You have to tell this much of security we have, these things we have, not to destroy the business. Always functional requirements are actionable things. These are something that working, something that client is expected. If the functional requirements are not in there, perhaps clients might be get really upset. In the other hand, non-functional requirements, they're really important, really wanted, but clients do not specifically mention it for us. You should see that. And in the other hand, non-functional requirements should be measurable. You should tell the system should load within this much of time. If not, there's no point at all. The color code is this. If it is blue, if I ask, my system should be in red color. Is this a proper non-functional requirement or not? Give me answers. Quick. My website should be in red color. Okay, blue color. Okay, blue color, which is much easy for us. Not. Why it's not? Why it's not? It's not a proper non-functional requirement. Why? Guys, please, this is interactive learning sessions. I'm so sorry, guys. Within 2 hours, I can't fully interact, but I'm telling something to make sure it's easy. Not clear. Not clear. Can put what was happened? I'm asking I'm the client, and my question is I want a website. That website should be in blue color. Yes, right. We see there are a couple of answers given. Really appreciate a lot. Number one, though the customer is telling or not, there's no functionality at all. Blue color, we don't have any function, no action at all. Whether customers are telling or not, it's not a functional requirement. So it's a non-functional requirement. Clear? The customer might say the system should load within 2 seconds. Customer told it, but still it's a non-functional requirement. Functional requirements are actions in the system. Some work, some activity happens in the system. Right? So that's the very first thing you have to clear out your head. Though it's a non-function, though its client is telling my website should be in blue color, that's a non-functional requirement. The reason behind is there's no functionality, no action happens. If you change blue to red, yes, of course, nothing happens. But if it is a functional requirement, if you change something, for an example, if you change add to cart function into remove cart, now what happens? If we add much more things to the cart, then the things are removing. Weird, isn't it? It's weird. So Functional requirements are always giving something to the end user customer and whoever the person working. If you change, it affects a lot. Even non-functional affects a lot. My point is whether the customer is telling or not. If there is no action, simply you just classify into functional requirement. Sorry, non-functional requirement. If it is a function, if it is an activity happens, convert it and classify it to a functional requirement. Again, I'm telling if I mistaken something in my wordings. If there is an action happens in the system, you classify into a functional requirement. If there's nothing happens in the system, you convert into a non-functional requirement. You can understand in that broader point of view, though customer is telling or not, right? Clear. Number two, the system is blue color. Good answer is in there. What is the color? Which part should be blue? So that statement is ambiguous. Understood? It's ambiguous. It's ambiguous because it's not given whether the header or the footer or the text color or the background color or the image background or whatever things. So that's a nice attempt, but still answer is not good. Which part should be there? That's not something that we can tell. It's a non-functional requirement. All right. Without blue color, we can run the system. Good colors are not a function system, action system. It's good, like it's a styling. Yes, of course. Now, how to convert this into a proper non-functional requirement? We can specifically tell blue in a hash code. We'll get an example. You might have, if you have learned chemistry, you know how many blue colors in this world. Still, if you don't know, don't worry. That's fine. In general terms, have you heard sky blue, ocean blue, navy blue? Uh, what else? Persian blue. Lot of blue colors we have. Blue colors we have. If you give specifically hash FF00E, whatever, I'm giving an example. I want this blue color, then the specificity is in there. That's non-functional requirement. Specificity is in there. Blue is a broader and very hard story. If you specify hash code for the colors, we have hash codes. If you tell hash 00FFCC, then it's a blue color. You can specify, you can remove the ambiguity by telling my header should be in hash this color. Is it clear? I believe it's clear. Right. You can specify it. Always we have problems in this requirements gathering. What you have to see how the clients are explaining a scenario, and your document, your mini project, you should remove all these ambiguated stories. You should remove all these ambiguities. That's the point that you can go for near perfectness. Clear? Any questions, guys? Everyone, what I'm telling is go to the Sri Lanka local A-levels, check A-level papers, A-level IT papers. There are a lot of questions in functional and non-functional. MCQ questions we have and essay questions we have. Please do all of these things before you are coming to the CAT paper. Hint, H-I-N-T, hint. Perhaps you can save your life. Yes, please. What is the question? No need to raise the hands. Just tell me what is your problem is in the chat. Right. Then we have how to understand the functional requirements, non-functional requirements, and so on and so forth. I believe you understood what is a functional requirement, what are the non-functional requirements. What are the problems in functional and non-functional requirements? Yes, question. The client not mention proper color name or code, a specific place, how it would be. Yes, of course. At the very beginning, they are telling this should be in blue color. Then you should ask question back again. You should open. There's a if you go to the web online, there are color pickers. You just go to color. If you want, I'll show you. Just search color pickers. Let me share my screen. Right here you have blue color. All right, ask from your client. Here you go. I have lot of colors in here. Now, this is the color that you want to see, right? These are all these colors. Even you can change a bit more. Is this the blue color that you want? Is this the blue color? If you want like different kinds of colors, we have specific colors. We have, even if you want to change the color into 5588, I don't know what is the color actually, PE, then you'll get a blue color. I don't know, randomly. Fortunately, it was blue color, right? I just randomly check this color. This the color you want? Then they might no, it put much more darker. Is this much of? Is this much? Then I don't know. That's too much. Then we'll go for this much and stuff, and this much and stuff. In the other hand, if you just search navy blue, what is the hash? This is the hexa values. Then you can tell. You can copy paste the same color into your website. That's the perfect requirement fulfilling from them. Yeah, point of. In the other hand, you just ask whether you want to have it in the header, footer, or specific location, or what kind of place, entire color. And in the other hand, don't believe there's a perfect color in this world. You might like pink, some might like blue, some might like black, some might red, green, orange. Don't go for an argument. Don't tell, poor, it's very ugly color. No, that's the best color for that client. You say, yes, yes, that's nice, very good. I love that color. That's the worst color that you don't like at all, right? Assume that you are developing an application for something that the very dark green and very bad some color is given, whatever color that no one likes. But client says, yes, this is the best color. What you have to say? Yes, of course, please. But then you just go for a quick research and see how the other websites are, because color has a lot of impact for psychological impacts. Red color makes the blood what we call blood circulation faster. So there are a lot of things, believe me. There are themes, some universities, some faculties having colors. Now, if you are going for something in engineering faculty, if you have selected blue, yes, of course, it's a mess. It's a mess, right? I experienced it. It's a mess. The reason behind is our faculty color is not blue color. Right? That's a mess. I haven't seen even at that time. That's the problem. But the real problem is our faculty color is not blue color. It's natural sciences. Right. So nice stories we have. These are all these experiences. All these experience. I understood very soon because I have this experience, prior experience, why the client is rejecting all of these things. So I have modified it all of these things quickly. But very soon you will realize all these engineering things, no blue color at all. But once it comes to IT industry, software industry, engineering, lot of things, they do like dark colors, mostly black color kind of thing, dark blue color kind of thing. Majority likes. But there might be people who like green and blue and all of these things. So your job role in this case is to understand the non-functional requirement and come up to a specific. Now hash 234F A8 is a unique color, is a specific color. I want this specificity in non-functional requirements always. If a website is loading faster, there's no meaning at all. You have to tell the website is loading within 2 seconds. That's the biggest story that you have to. I believe it's clear. We can't ask all the requirements in our questions. How we gather these things like color and font type? Don't you ask all these questions? This is this is a website for someone in this world. It's like finding a girl or a boy for you. You are not telling all the requirements for you, then your parents might find someone that they can do. So you just ask all these problems from your uh, what are the requirements that you have. Ask from client what is the color, what is the shape, any images that you want. Specifically think. I don't know how many of you are doing freelancing. I'm doing almost today also. I'm doing freelancing. It's an interesting. To be honest, it's very interesting, right? Freelancing is a nice, interesting story. They are giving some requirements, no images at all, but they believe we'll develop all these images and create all these images for them and share with them. And if we create an image, then they are really, no, this is not the image that we want. We want something else. Then what? We are getting really angry, tempered, right? Really, what to do? Simplest thing is ask from your client, please, can you give me the images? Then your problem is easy. Then they'll say, oh, can't you generate images? Then tell, yes, of course I can generate, but there's an additional cost attached for that. I'll tell the other stories later on, unless it's going far beyond this software engineering class. All right. Non-functional requirement should be measurable at least any form. Yes, of course. Freelancing is interesting. Please do it. Yes, right. Right. Interesting stories we have. What I believe is, students, please start doing freelancing. Then, if all the jobs are lost, no worries at all. Tomorrow also, you are a strong person because you know what to do. You are developing something. It's not a theory story. It's a practical story. Believe me. Right? Believe me. You learn a lot of technologies. You learn databases, multiple databases. You learn all these big problems. If you're just a theoretical person, yes, of course, nothing, you don't have a job. But don't tell in your interview, I am a freelancer. They don't like. Be strategic. Right? Tell what they want, unless you might tell, yeah, I'm a freelancer in your interview. Then they'll say, thank you, see you, bye-bye. We'll meet in next interview. Nothing happens. All right, guys, interesting stories. I have a lot of interesting stories in the software engineering, but this is not the place to tell all these things. Come on, we'll go to the next topic, requirement analysis. We have requirements analysis. We'll go for quick requirement analysis story we have. Here you go. Yeah, we have this requirement analysis. We have illustrating requirements with DFDs. Again, the people who did A-level IT, DFDs are nothing. So every student, my motivational story is, please go to the past A-level ICT papers, sorry, IT papers, then do as much as DFDs. There are questions from DFDs. So please do it. Experience it. Do it as much as use cases. Also, we have the same thing. Do it as much as practically do it. Theoretical, no point at all. All right. See what is in here. Activities given here at the very beginning. I don't know activities given. Right. Requirement analysis is a process of studying user expectations of a system which will be newly proposed or will be added modifications to the existing system. Requirement analysis is analyzing the requirement. Yes, of course, nice interpretation. Requirement analysis is analyzing the requirements. How to analyze the requirements is the big story that behind in this case. What we have to do is we have to do understand the feasibility at the very beginning, because if it is impossible, we should inform to the client earliest as possible. I'm so sorry, this is not something that we can do, because if the requirements is infeasible, we can't do, there's nothing to analyze. Throw it away and tell. If still the client is asking, then tell to the client, please find someone who can do. I'm not a person. Yes, of course, right? We are not a god that can do all of these things. We have some specific knowledge. We know some specific things. We are doing that. That's all. We don't know everything in this world. We have very limited knowledge, right? We know some specific thing. Then we are doing that. That's the whole story. So the requirement analysis at the very beginning, you should check the feasibilities and you should go for whether it's possible or impossible. If it is possible, now you should analyze the real requirement. Where should be adapted? How should be it should be adapted? How the impact to the system? This new requirement or the existing system or a new system that you are developing should adapt to this new requirement, new functionality. We'll get a very simple example. Now, I'm your client, I'm asking, now the existing system, we have a login. This login is basically having a username and password. That's the very first thing. Now I'm asking, I don't want this username and password further. I want to remove it. I want to remove it. But still people needs to authorize, right? We have to go for authentication and authorization process. Now, as a business analysis, system analysis student, architect, or whatever the job role you is, you assume you are that person and tell me how to solve this problem, how to analyze this requirement. Yes, requirement. Quick, guys, we don't have much time. Perfect. We can go for OTP. We can go for OTP, then we can verify it. We have single sign-on. We have auth logins. Nowadays, we have face recognition systems, heartbeat recognition systems we have. We can implement these things into a system. Initial requirement is given by the client, and your job role is to implement. Your understand is how much deeper is this requirement is. This is a very deeper discussion. If you go to some other universities, we have a subject called in here we have, yes, of course, requirements engineering. That's really taste, right? Understanding ins and outs these customers. It might be based on the scope, it might be based on the cost, the time, skills, many aspects we have. Somehow, to do a proper requirements analysis at the very beginning, you should start with the very simple scenarios like flowchart diagrams. Flowchart says how the flow is going on, how the basic requirement can be mapped. Then we have DFTs, data flow diagram, to draw some specific diagram. Then we have use case diagrams. These use case diagrams are specifically to make this scenario much more interesting, how the end users are interacting. Flowcharts are described in Unit 1 under the algorithms. I believe you are very good. And in this session, we are analyzing how to analyze requirements with the use of DFDs and use case diagrams. So you should be able to draw a use case diagram, a DFD, and a flowchart. DFDs, we have levels of DFDs 0, 1, 2, and stuff. We have context diagrams, we have flowchart diagrams, data flow diagrams, level 1. Then we have use case diagrams. This is a separate one, sorry. This is the data flow diagram, level 1. We have 2 also DFDs. But in generally, if you just understood the context diagram and a DFD with level 1 and 2, it's more than enough. If I take a bit of time, my general suggestion is please go to A-level past paper and see all these things, how it was done. You're expected to draw DFT diagrams, use case diagrams, as well as flow charts in your exams. What is a use case? It's basically telling how the actors are interacting. Actors are people. Sometimes it might be a software interface nowadays. These are the actions that happens in the system. Now, I know it's a bit complicated to understand all of these things, but practice a bit more, then you could be able to grasp all of these things. We have modeling tools, a lot of modeling tools we have, and you have to use definitely the standard notations for given cases. Now, actor and the use case, whatever things, make sure to have this square, which is the system functionality in any given case. It's a mandatory scenario that's must to do. Use case diagrams we have, then the extension of the use case we have, then we have extends and we have implements. Those are very important. Here we have extends, we have includes. So just go through all of these things, then you could be able to find. This is a use case narrative in here, right? How this use case is given. Then we have non-functional requirements. We have function requirements validations, whether it's a proper validated one or not. Any questions? Quick questions, please. Quick questions. Questions. How many sessions and in which sessions come for Cat 2 until session 22 metrics of software quality? Up to that, you have ready for the Cat 2. Then, yes, completely block 1, 2, and part of 3. Is it clear? Can AI for mini project? 0. There's a question for which parts we can use AI help in mini project and PMA? 0. You can't use it. Now you don't use it since I haven't taught. Right? In study material ranking system, how we rank use case. In study material, I see ranking system. How we rank use cases, I don't know what is this. Freelancing, why you are get upset. It's interesting. So for the mini project, can we do simulate interviews? Yes, of course. You should simulate, not just simulate. You should go for a real place and you should get the real requirement. Right? So you should get the photos of these people and you should record these interviews and all these evidences should be shared. Session 1 to 22. Yes, of course, everything. 1 to 22, all things to Chapter 2. If what is this? If he did not allow us to record or screenshot the interview in our mini project, is it? No, you can go for another place. The question is, if he do not allow us to record or screenshot the interview in our mini project, you can select another place. Next. Will come to draw DFDs in Cat 2? Yes, of course, sometimes. Most probably, you have to draw a use case diagram, DFD, use case diagram, DFD, and flowchart. No filling the blanks. That's for kids. All right, let's move to the next topic, which is session 20, object orientation. I'll take a bit of time, students, today. I'm sorry. I'll try to finish earliest as possible. Question, how to select stakeholders for interviews? How to select stakeholders for interview? I'm not sure what is this question is. I think for asking client, stakeholder is a person, any person in the business. So even if you go for the interview, you are a stakeholder. How to select stakeholders for interview? Please give an idea. Mini project. I'm not sure what is this question is. How to find a client, or how to select a client, or how to ask questions, or how to conduct an interview. Not sure. How to conduct an interview. But we'll come back. All right, object-oriented design principles. We have object-oriented design principles. Basically, the analysis emphasizes the investigation of a problem rather than how the solution is found. So the design emphasizes a logical solution and how the system fulfills the requirements. However, the division between the two terms are not very clear. Yes, of course, somehow, don't worry about that. We have objects in the real world, your pen, pencils, mobile phones, cups, laptops, mouse, statues, fan, all of these things are objects. Every object we have specifically a state and a behavior in a given case. A state is a situation, a time that you have. For an example, your weight, your height, your whatever things that we can tell. Amount of money in your wallet is a state. Your behavior is run, eat, sleep, and do something. Even the real objects are doing the same thing. What we are going to do is we are going to map these objects into a real scenario. Now, what happens? Now, what we are doing, uh, we are specifying what kind of thing that this object is doing. For an example, dogs attributes we have. Uh, you learn Java very soon, or if you haven't learned, that's fine. We have Python is not very good to explain this scenario, so I'll get Java class ABC. We have public static void main string args, all of these things we have. Then we'll get class dog. Class dog we have. Then we have int age is 33. Sorry, 3. Dogs don't live for 33 years. Skin color, a string skin color, white. Then we can tell int, get age, int, uh, void, set age. Then we can tell some additional methods and stuff in here. This is an object that we are speaking in here. We have to create the objects. We have to run the objects. We have to get somewhere done. That's more than enough to understand what happens in here. There are a couple of things that you can do here. We have classes, we have class objects, we have green, red, blue, and we have oxygen, then we have a diesel car, then we have a Prius is not electricity, it's hybrid. I think Nissan should be there. Nissan Leaf is an electrical car, so that makes sense. All right, somehow interesting things we have once it comes to UML modeling. We have lot of UML modelings. Don't worry, all these questions are not asking, but you should have a good understanding to tell it in a theoretical point of view. For an example, use case diagrams, integration diagrams, collaboration diagrams, state machines, and so on and so forth. So this is an example for a quick class given here. This is the class name. This is something missing actually. This is not a fully completed class given here. Somehow we have states and attributes given, the author's name and the ISBN number. Then we have actions, the operations, reorder, give discounts, and so on. We have relationships in these classes, how these relationships are working. We have library and the librarian. Librarian is working in a library. So we have concepts called multiplicity, one to one, one to many, one to one or more, one to zero or more, one to boundary interval. We have one to exactly n, one to n two choices and stuff. Very interesting. Very soon, if you are doing ER diagrams, you will implement all of these things. Don't worry. We have a concept called generalization. We have specialization, multiple inheritance, abstractions, encapsulation. We have a lot of things. Actually, we have abstraction, encapsulation, inheritance, and polymorphism. These are the four pillars of core concepts of object orientation. Then we have objects. Then we have additional concepts, many concepts. We have volatility. We have what we call this. Exceptional boundaries, garbage collections, many XYZ things we have. But don't worry, you'll learn all of these things in another subject for object orientation. At that time, you learn all these things in and out. But in this subject, if you have just a very high level overview, what is abstraction, what is encapsulation, what is polymorphism, that's more than enough. With an example, right? You don't want to write specific codes. If you can write code, yes, of course, I love it. Any questions? I'm so sorry, I'm running too fast, but that's fine. How to select a scenario in a given scenario for many projects? It's given in the what we call document. Language is matter in the interview. Don't ask questions in English language. Then some people might get upset. They can't explain. So don't worry, go for their foot and understand how they feel. Don't mess up their life, anyone's life, because of an interview. All right, then the person we are interviewing is related to this scenario, like work person, owner, manager, staff, etc. You can discuss with the manager or as owner, then you can get this information. Working persons might not give fully information, it's just partial information because they don't know the entire business. The influence of colors is a lot of in this analysis. I don't know why all of a sudden. ನಿಮ್ದೇ negative influence of colors is used a lot in this analysis. I don't know why all of a sudden asked that question. Interesting kids we have, right? Uh, yes, you have to select one out of from this scenario. Let's quickly jump into software testing. All right, we have software testing. Testing is to check whether it's properly functioning or not. You have to do a lot of tests because we want to check whether the information that we have given for you is grasped properly, whether you can apply to a real world scenario and do something valuable to this world. That's the big thing that we are trying to do. Here we have to understand the programming errors. Sometimes it might be a syntax error, sometimes it might be a runtime error, semantic error, or something. Then we have software testing, the reliability testing, acceptance testing, unit testing. And actually, it should be starts with unit testing because that's the modules, very simple modules that we are testing. Then we have the V model that we discussed early. Then you can do it a bit more function and non-functional testing. We have then the testing strategies of the testing black box and white box testing. Black box testing is basically we have no idea how the source code is given, how the source code is working. We just add some information and check how the system is working, whether the expected output is coming or not. On the other hand, white box testing is we evaluate, we function it in a code, like we check the code, internal functionalities in this code and check whether these things are working properly or not. But in detail, we have some additional mechanisms and interesting mechanisms to get all of these understand. And test for the conditional coverage testings. Then we have tests are finished. No, when is the test finished? Never tests are finishing, because we have always new problems. So we are going to evaluate all of these things. So eventually, these things might be very interesting for anything. Right. The last topic for today: metrics of software quality. Right. We have metrics of software quality, the software quality processes. Then we have a quick discussion, because the software quality is really important. We have to understand the high level quality. We have to understand how the software is working in here and there. The high level story, the quality of this software. So the expectations, whether this is achieved or not. If it is achieved, then that's all. If it is not, is of course that's not. That's the bigger story in here. So we have to check the correctness, reliability, efficiency, integrity, usability, and so on and so forth. There are activities measuring the software quality. So we have test manual testing metrics. We have the raw collected data tested during the test case development, then calculate the metrics. So all of these things. Then we have software processes. We understood how this waterfall prototype and stuff is working. Then we understood the incremental models, spiral models, V model and stuff is going on. We have agile, relational processes. No need to buy hard all of these things now. You can do it in your final examination. Unless you might be in a mess at the end of the day. Yes, that's enough. Any questions? Any questions, please? Seems most of the students are freezed. Yes, of course, it could be happen. Uh, yes, agreed with that. Freezing is brain functions are not working very well. Yes, of course. I'll upload all of these things. You can go through and watch all of these things later on. It seems many students are not watching the videos. It seems not many students are not going through these LMS activities. Please go through all these activities, those things to make you strong. Not there's no purpose to make you anyone into a trouble. The ultimate objective is to set you into the industry, set you into the academia, set you into a proper person who can do something in software world. That's why all these activities and stuff is given. But I don't pressure a lot these kids. Yes, of course, it's up to you. If you can do, you do it. If you can't do, that's okay. That's not a big deal at all. Hello, good morning. Yes, we'll see the Q&A session. Um, you have to select one scenario given. Uh, Ice cream selling. Uh, is that a restaurant? No. Ice cream bar you can't take. It's not a baker. It's not a baker. It's something else. Is it okay to create a submit the mini project according to the instructions given? Yes, of course. Instructions given that you need to do. Can we interview client? You want like undergraduate student? Not at all. No, undergraduate students you can't interview. If I choose a website for a bakery, then wanna interview the on. Yes, of course. In Viva asking those things. Yes, of course, you should show evidences. What are things that you did in this case? Check what they want. Check what they want. Then you should document it. We don't want to mess up your life. You just go out and see, discuss with other people. Then you can get interesting things. Any other questions? All right, thank you. Then see you. Bye bye. We'll meet very soon.